The first thing I do every month when my pension arrives is transfer $300 to my daughter, Emily Smith. Yet the first thing Emily does upon receiving the money is forward it to her mother-in-law. The bird's nest soup I bought to help her recover postpartum ended up in her mother-in-law's hands the next day. The gold bracelet meant as our golden anniversary gift, the one she pleaded so sweetly for, reappeared days later on her mother-in-law's wrist. Emily claims they're as close as real mother and daughter, insisting I shouldn't worry about their relationship. When she later asked me to care for her during her second pregnancy, I remarked casually, "If you already have two mothers, why burden just one?" Chapter 1. My granddaughter Lily needed to start preschool. Emily tearfully explained their financial strain. Jason and I barely make ends meet with our salaries. Lily's formula, diapers, car payments, and mortgage these past 3 years drained our savings. The nearest preschool is the priciest in the area, requiring a full semester's tuition up front. Living with them to help care for Lily, I understood their struggles. Neither Emily nor Jason earned much, with slim chances for promotions. Her in-laws lacked pensions too, so I felt relieved they weren't adding to the couple's burdens. Seeing Emily's anxious hesitation, I offered to cover Lily's preschool costs. My $5,000 monthly pension, after sending Emily her $300, easily accommodated this. Emily leaped up, hugging me. "You're the best. Mom, what would I do without you?" I stroked her hair, smiling. "You're my daughter. Of course I'll support you." Jason Brown returned from work, eyeing our embrace curiously. When Emily cheered, "Mom's paying for Lily's preschool," he frowned disapprovingly. "We agreed to handle this ourselves. We can't keep relying on you." I cut him off. "It's my gift as Lily's grandmother." Jason, who prided himself on independence since college, finally nodded gratefully. My phone interrupted with a video call from Emily's mother-in-law. The screen loaded, and I froze. There, glinting on her wrist, was the golden anniversary bracelet my late husband gave me. The same one Emily had begged me for weeks to take. Beautiful bracelet, I managed. "Where's it from?" she preened, twisting it proudly. "My wonderful son gave it to me. Everyone says daughters are sweeter, but mine can't compare to him." I glanced at Emily, catching her uneasy flush. The golden glare from the screen burned brighter than any jewelry. "And she bought it when gold prices were at their peak. You should have Emily get you one too, mother-in-law. She's your only daughter, shouldn't she show some appreciation?" I turned to see Emily's face flushing crimson, though she feigned composure. My heart sank. That fool! She'd stolen my belongings to curry favor, only to have Jason take full credit. Forcing a smile, I said, "Let's not." She was just complaining about struggling with Lily's preschool tuition. My mother-in-law's tone shifted instantly. "Oh dear. I've got an urgent matter. We'll visit our precious granddaughter another day." In the past, I might have believed her. Now I knew better. The old bat was dodging any financial responsibility. Jason had already retreated to his study under the guise of work. When Emily finally met my gaze, her hesitant mom made my skin crawl. That once endearing address now tasted like swallowing flies. "My anniversary necklace?" I demanded. She nodded faintly. "For Jason's mom's birthday, he said we needed an impressive gift." "So you gave her the golden anniversary present from your father?" My laugh held no warmth. The daughter I'd coddled since birth. The child I'd secretly supplemented with $3,000 monthly since college, even after her marriage, sat avoiding my eyes. All my sacrifices to strengthen her position in this marriage. And she'd become their willing cash cow. Her phone chimed. The preview showed her mother-in-law's latest message. "Emily, we're short this month. Your brother's fiancé is visiting, we need funds." Scrolling up revealed the ugly truth. Every cent I'd given her went straight to the Browns. "Mom, you know how hard her life is. What the hell does that have to do with me? My rare outburst startled even myself. Years of suppressed resentment erupted. Aunt Johnson and Aunt Williams are touring Europe on their pensions while I'm here raising your child. Your mother-in-law's too frail to help but spends hours tearing up the dance floor at the community center. You want freedom? Whose life do you think funds yours? Lily's frightened wails from the playmat went ignored by both of us. Only when Jason emerged to comfort her did the charade break. We'll replace the necklace, he soothed, while Emily muttered defiance. Keep your trinkets. I spat. The cold realization crystallized, my daughter had become a stranger. The monthly transfers stopped that instant. Let the Browns fund their own greed. It's just a bracelet. How stingy. I glanced around the cozy home I'd meticulously maintained for 3 years. At an age when we should be enjoying retirement. My husband chose to return to work through a rehiring program to support our daughter. His hair graying from endless hours at the factory. Meanwhile, I dropped everything the moment Emily said, "Mom, I need your help." Now, it was time to leave. As I stood to pack my guest room suitcase, I overheard Jason whisper to Emily, "Your mom seems really upset." My daughter's reply stung, "Don't worry. She might leave me but she'd never abandon Lily." My belongings filled half a suitcase, seasonal clothes. A few books. The empty living room spared me awkward goodbyes. Passing the kitchen, I grabbed the expensive fish maw I'd bought for Emily's skincare regimen, remembering how she'd regifted my postpartum bird's nest soup to her mother-in-law. This time, I kept moving. I hired same-day movers to strip the house of every item I'd purchased, from sofa sets to rice sacks. If Emily preferred her second mother-in-law, this biological parent would reclaim her life. My husband sighed when he saw my luggage at our door. Rough time? His simple question broke my composure. Over poor tea. I recounted everything. His trembling hands reached for the phone to confront Emily until I stopped him. His heart condition couldn't take the stress. Quitting? He suddenly grinned. Then I quit too. Let's travel. We burst into laughter, immediately researching destinations as resignation calls were made. When Emily's sweetheart caller ID flashed, my husband answered on speakerphone. Speak. Did Mom leave? Emily faltered after stunned silence. Should she stay where she's unwanted? My husband retorted. Jason intervened. We'll apologize tomorrow. We'll pick her up. Pick her up? My husband scoffed. To resume free childcare? We're vacationing now. Figure it out yourselves. Emily's panic surfaced. How could you abandon us? Who'll watch Lily? This is so selfish. Emily. I snatched the phone, trembling. You chose parenthood without planning childcare? Let your mahjong-addicted mother-in-law help. Use the money we've given you for a nanny. Want free labor on demand? Even workhorses get rest. We boarded the Beijing flight next morning, ignoring countless calls and videos of tearful Lily pleading Grandma come back. Each sob twisted my heart, but we kept scrolling through travel blogs. Our retirement savings and decent health finally granting us freedom. I've seen too many parents manipulated through their grandchildren. A tactic I've always despised. Never imagined my own child would use her kids to guilt-trip me. This morning, Emily texted early, "Thanks for giving me life on my birthday." The message left me disoriented. My husband noticed my turmoil and called her. To my shock, she burst into grateful tears over the phone. For a moment, I thought we'd finally connected, until she dropped the bombshell after we both calmed down. Mom, I'm pregnant again. I need you to come take care of me. My mother-in-law's back went out again. And let's be real, her cooking's terrible anyway. This time will be different. I promise. The fragile warmth in my chest instantly refroze. My husband sighed heavily. Disappointment etched on his face. Stealing myself. I countered, "You've got 2 mothers, don't dump everything on one. Family support goes both ways." But she's struggling. You don't understand, she protested. What does that have to do with me? I snapped, slamming the phone down. My hands shook as I powered it off. A second child? My own daughter, raised as an only child, now bowing to her husband's family's archaic preference for sons? This reeked of desperation. Some twisted scheme to rope me back into their chaos. Later, I overheard my husband's angry muttering from the bathroom. He emerged fuming. She called every aunt and cousin, recruiting them to pressure me. Emily's drowning. He mimicked our third sister's plea. Both parents work full-time, barely managing one kid. And now another? That Smith woman's useless, takes Lily to smoke-filled mahjong parlors. Feeds her instant noodles for lunch. Jason's no better. Hiding in his home office claiming meetings while Emily cooks and cleans after work. Strangely, his outrage calmed me. And with this mess, she wants another baby? The irony stung, my feminist daughter tolerating this? Sacrificing herself and dragging me down too? Lily should be in preschool. I realized suddenly. We enrolled her before I left. My husband hesitated. Don't get upset. They couldn't afford the tuition. $8.80 a semester? Either of their salaries covers that. My voice rose sharply. This crossed the line. Bypassing Emily. I called Jason directly. Yes. Mom? He answered promptly. All fake respect. Why isn't Lily in school? His chuckle grated. Well, with the new baby coming, we thought. I hung up mid-sentence. The pattern repeated, their poor planning becoming my emergency. But not this time. Let their chosen Smith family handle the consequences. I turned to my husband, book the cruise. The Caribbean ones, with no cell service. Didn't you say you'd cover Lily's tuition? If you leave, then naturally Lily would. Oh, come on. Mom. It's fine. We don't want to trouble you. At worst, she can restart elementary school. Now, I had one final question. Does Emily think the same way? Jason answered confidently, of course. We're married. Every decision we make is mutual. A power play. I hung up after telling my husband, we need to go back. 3 months later, my daughter Emily looked a decade older. Gone was the meticulously groomed woman who'd polish her toenails to perfection. Now she stood slouched in faded clothes, outshone by my own posture. Her eyes lit up when she saw me at her doorstep, followed by an "I told you so" smirk. The house reeked of chaos, toys carpeting the floor, clothes avalanching off couches, greasy dishes fossilizing in the sink. Lily, her hair in lopsided pigtails and clothes smeared with stains, hurled herself into my arms, abandoning a half-eaten cucumber. Holding Lily, I eyed my disheveled daughter. Where's Jason? Working overtime on a weekend? He's swamped with a big project. She mumbled. I chuckled. Big project means big bonuses. Right? She bristled like a scalded cat. So what if there's a bonus? I'm pregnant again. Ultrasounds. Delivery, it all costs money. Ah. So this bonus won't go toward Lily's education, but to your little heir apparent? I gestured at her belly. Emily, I never taught you to favor sons over daughters. You're college educated. How could you? The bedroom door slammed open. Jason's mother, Mother Brown, emerged. Any lingering sympathy for my daughter evaporated. How could she let this woman usurp her role as mistress of the house? Ah. Mother Brown. I thought Emily was alone here juggling chores and childcare. Explains the mess. The woman puffed up indignantly. How dare you? While you've been gallivanting on vacations, I've been slaving away here. If you won't help, at least pay up. Other grandmothers get compensation for babysitting. I whispered for Lily to watch cartoons in her room. Once the theme song blared, I crossed my arms. Let's settle accounts then. I've given Emily $3. $000 monthly since her first pregnancy, money she's apparently funneled to you. Groceries. Incidentals. And Lily's formula averaged $2.500 monthly. Over 47 months. That's $258. $500 from me alone. By your logic, I deserve compensation too. What's your rate? Emily flushed crimson. Mom, we're family. Why nitpick? Mother Brown sneered. Exactly. You retirees have pensions. Shouldn't you support us more? Ugh. Rich people stay stingy. Ignoring her. I stared at Emily. You agree? She stared at her feet, silent consent. The gold bracelet I'd given my daughter now dangled from Mother Brown's wrist. She hid it behind her back this time. Defensive, don't glare. This isn't yours. Jason bought me this. I smiled faintly. Is that so? Then I dialed 911. Hello. I'd like to report a stolen bracelet worth over $30,000. Emily and my in-laws paled in unison. Panicking. Take it back. Just take it back. The in-law fumbled to remove the bracelet and tossed it into my lap. I leisurely fastened it around my wrist and waved my phone. I didn't actually call. Just messing with you. They stared at each other. After a long silence, Emily said quietly, Mom, you're the one who gave this to me. Oh, I forgot. I pulled the household register from my bag and slammed it on the table. Emily and the in-laws looked puzzled. I flipped to the page with Emily's name. It's been years since your marriage. Keeping your residency registered here is inappropriate. Transfer it out. We'll move Lily's registration in so I can enroll her in school. Emily gasped in shock. If you want Lily to go to school, just pay the fees. Why go through residency transfers? I nodded. Exactly. If you want me to handle Lily's education, her residency must be transferred here. Let me make this clear, I won't lift a finger for that baby you're carrying. If you think you can manage both children, keep Lily's registration where it is. My coldness took Emily by surprise. Tears welled in her eyes as she choked out. Even so, why remove my registration? Don't you want me as your daughter anymore? In the past, seeing my daughter cry would have broken my heart. Now I felt nothing. You've built your own family and made your choices. How can you ask me this now? Don't you see how ridiculous that is? The in-laws' eyes darted shrewdly as they whispered to Emily. Just transfer it. We can't let my grandson suffer. You're her only daughter, she won't abandon you. The sadness vanished from Emily's eyes, replaced by resolve. The in-law spoke first. No problem. Emily can register with our family. But let's be clear, since Lily's residency is transferred out, she's entirely your responsibility now. I side-eyed Emily. She hesitated. I think it's better for Lily to stay with you. With my pregnancy, and Lily being so active, I couldn't bear to listen anymore. Standing abruptly, I called Lily to leave. The moment Lily heard Grandma's house, she beamed, skipping to take my hand without a shred of hesitation. She chattered brightly the whole way. Grandma, Mommy says I'm getting a baby brother and I have to help take care of him. Grandma, I don't want to be a big sister. Why do big sisters always have to give in? Grandma, I missed you so much I got skinny. I smiled, readying her pigtails. How about living with Grandma and Grandpa from now on? Lily? Lily shrieked with joy, running circles around me. The residency transfer went smoothly, and true to my word, I enrolled Lily in the best kindergarten near our home. Emily stared tearfully at the red transfer stamp on her household registration page, touching her swollen belly. Mom, do you really hate your grandson that much? I smirked mockingly. It's not the grandson I dislike. It's you, the traitor who bites the hand that feeds, and that Brown family you married into. Genuine shock and pain flashed in her eyes. But she sighed. I knew it. You've always looked down on Jason's family for being poor. At this point, I had no energy left to argue with her. I was willing to help Emily, but she was so blind that she couldn't see the obvious. Looking at her plain face, I said, "When you were pregnant with Lily, you weren't this haggard." But she gently stroked her belly and said, "Jason said cosmetics are bad for the fetus. They can get into the baby's blood through the umbilical cord. We secretly had someone check this baby. And it's a boy. It's right to be careful." I was completely speechless. For a long time, Emily and I didn't keep in touch. She would occasionally call her dad to ask about Lily. Lily was living well with us. We gave her plenty of both time and money. As for love, I believe we loved her far more than her parents did. After all, she was our own daughter. My husband secretly went to see her several times. When he came back, he just sat on the sofa and wiped his tears. Jason and his mom are really heartless. Emily was walking with a big belly, carrying big bags and packages. But the mother-son duo walked in front, arm in arm, chatting and laughing. When Emily asked him to help, he said pregnant women should exercise more. Today, I saw the clothes our daughter was wearing. They were all torn. You know, her monthly salary isn't that low. How could she be living so frugally? Olchin upstairs accompanied his daughter-in-law to the hospital today. He said he saw Emily arguing with Jason about some check-up. Jason thought it was a waste of money. And her mother-in-law said Emily was being fussy. She said they didn't have any check-ups back then and still gave birth to healthy kids. Olchin could tell they just didn't want to spend the money. In the end, it was Olchin who paid for it. I asked my husband, "Are you feeling sorry for her?" He shook his head firmly and said, "Of course I feel bad seeing my own child suffering. But I know Emily chose this path herself. She's being ungrateful." I nodded. I think so too. As long as she doesn't come to her senses, any help we offer will be in vain. But I'm curious with you. Does she have no money at all? How come she can't even afford a check-up? I decided to investigate thoroughly. I immediately found an old friend who used to be a journalist. She recommended someone to me, her former apprentice. Since the decline of print media, he switched to being a private detective. I made an appointment to meet this detective. I briefly told him about my daughter's situation and gave him a set of photos of my daughter, son-in-law, and in-laws. A week later, he asked to meet me, saying he'd made some progress. "Your son-in-law is having an affair. Those so-called overtime work is actually him going to hotels to hook up with women." He threw a stack of photos of a man and a woman walking into a hotel arm in arm at me. I carefully flipped through them and found that the women in each photo were different. I looked at him in confusion. He swallowed hard and chose his words carefully. "Having an affair is a nicer way to put it. Actually," I waved my hand. "I get it. He's paying for it, right? Is it easy to find evidence?" He shook his head. "It used to be easy. But now banks are stricter. It's hard to trace money directly transferred from bank cards. But I do have a detailed record of payments made directly through WeChat and Alipay. You can take a look. The payment times match the shooting times of these photos." I took the information from him and compared it with the photos. "Also, your daughter's mother-in-law is not just playing mahjong. I guess your daughter has little money, and this might be related to it." He then handed me a folder with the name of my in-law on it. "Your in-law owes a lot of loans. My people saw someone come to her for debt twice this week alone. With the interest piling up, your daughter and son-in-law's salaries can never cover it." I tightly clutched the thick stack of information in my hand until my knuckles turned white. He carefully watched my expression and then pushed his phone towards me. "I just received this." On the screen, Jason was walking towards a hotel, with his arm around an overdressed woman. I looked at the sign above the hotel and immediately called the police without hesitation. In the middle of the night, I was awakened by a wild knocking on the door. When I opened it, Emily stood there, disheveled and out of breath. "You're so cruel." As soon as she shouted, I covered her mouth and said sternly, "Don't wake the kids." She fell silent and stood there, hunching her shoulders in a daze. I helped her in and poured her a glass of warm water. She held the cup and rubbed the edge of it with her hand, which was her long-standing reaction when she was nervous since childhood. "Mom, was it you who called the police?" She looked more shocked that I'd called the police than by what her own husband had done. "You knew?" I asked. She drained her coffee cup in one gulp. "Yes." My heart lurched, throat tightening until I could barely breathe. "Emily, how could you? This is madness." Tears glistened in her bitter laugh. "Don't blame Jason. He only started after you left. Someone had to clean up the mess when you walked out without a care. Who else but your own daughter? But between juggling everything and pregnancy weight, how could I keep Jason interested? Mom, he's a man, this is normal. We agreed once I lose the baby weight after our son's born, everything will go back to normal. Why do you have to meddle? Jason hates me now. What about his job after he's released? How will we raise our child?" Her composure shattered into hysterical sobs. "Grandma?" A timid voice made me turn. Lily stood rubbing sleep from her eyes in the bedroom doorway. My husband hurried to comfort her, but Emily glared at the child like an enemy. "Don't call me Mom. You chose cushy life with Grandma, you're no daughter of mine." Lily burst into terrified wails. My gentle husband snapped while shielding her. "You know damn well why she lives with us. Are we your enemies now?" The mask dropped. Emily wiped her face roughly with tissues. "Since Mom ruined Jason's career, you'll cover our lost income. Everything's mine eventually anyway." Ice filled my voice. "We're leaving everything to Lily." "You can't!" she screamed, face contorted. "Grandparents can't skip their child for a grandkid. Our money. Our choice." My husband roared, still carefully covering Lily's ears. Emily collapsed onto the couch clutching her belly. "Call 120. She's in labor." When the in-laws arrived cursing about bad timing ruining my mahjong game, the nurse demanded, "Who's signing for the emergency C-section? She's hemorrhaging. Surgery costs extra." The mother-in-law shrilled before pointing at me. "Make her pay, she's the birth mother." I turned away. "Your family. Handle it." Her screech followed me down the hall. What kind of mother abandons her daughter? Maybe. If I had been more ruthless earlier, refusing to care for my daughter Emily when she was pregnant with Lily, cutting off financial support after her marriage, perhaps things wouldn't have come to this. Emily finally gave the Brown family a son. Covering kindergarten tuition shouldn't have been an issue. This generation, I heard they even had to borrow money for her final hospital bills. She'd assumed bearing a male heir would make the Browns commit to childcare, letting her recover and return to work after maternity leave. But leopards don't change their spots. The Browns coddled their grandson for mere days before citing need to work and dumping the baby back on her. After Jason was released from detention, predictably jobless, he knew better than to confront me. His rage found a safer target, Emily. Yet my daughter remained deluded, ranting about my coldness on social media. Those tearful live streams accused me of being controlling, selfish for vacationing during her pregnancy, heartless for leaving her vulnerable during childbirth. Internet strangers swallowed her narrative whole, branding me radfem poison and worse than child-eating tigers. My counterattack was textbook, bank transfers timestamped, Lily's infancy documented in photos/videos. Public opinion flipped overnight. Comments overflowed with "Adopt me, Mom," and "I'll be your virtual daughter." Charmed, I began engaging, learning to edit vlogs. My following grew. News of Emily's divorce reached me at a family gathering. She'd apparently left Lily with Jason, escaping with only her skin. Emily had to crawl through broken glass to get free. Someone exclaimed. I sipped my wine. Silent. Her first life was shaped by us. This rebirth? That's on her.